This world is intricately stitched together, boys. Every thread we pull, we know not how it affects the design of things. We are but children on this earth, pulling bolts out of a Ferris wheel, thinking ourselves to be gods.
Robert lived an ordinary life, the kind most of us drift through without much notice. He seemed like an inconsequential figure, someone the world would forget. But he wasn't inconsequential, not to the people around him, and not to the life he actually lived. One day, he watched a group of white men seize an Asian worker and throw him off the tracks into the water. They killed him in front of everyone. Robert's only response was to ask what the man had done wrong.
What's he done?
He didn't believe he had the power to stop it. Changing something so brutal would require a sense of significance he never imagined himself having. But nobody gets to live a life without consequences. We're all implicated. If Robert could cut down trees that had stood for centuries, all for people he would never meet, he could have acted to defend someone standing right in front of him. He carries that guilt for the rest of his life. We never hear him articulate what he'd wished he'd done, but he knows he shouldn't have stood still while a man was murdered. And he wasn't the only one who froze. Everyone just watched. Complicity is messy. In the modern world, it has only become harder to understand how our choices ripple out towards strangers we never see. When Robert met Gladys, everything shifted. They fell in love, married, built a home and a family. For a while, life felt solid. One day, he returned from work to a wildfire tearing through the land. In the chaos, he realized his worst fear. His wife, his daughter, and the home they built were gone. We never received the exact details, only the certainty of their disappearance. His life breaks apart again. Sitting in the ashes, he wonders whether this is punishment.
Don't you think it's too much?
How did they deserve that? Why? Why?
Maybe he lost his family because he once failed to save someone else. Maybe years spent working far from home as a sawyer helped dry out the forest, making it more vulnerable to the fire that took Gladys and Katie. The choice he once had and didn't take, now mirrored by a disaster he had no choice in at all. Or maybe none of it was his fault. Blaming a man who only wanted to earn a living and care for his family feels cruel. How could any of this be his fault? We're all on a shared dream on a moving train. We board this train, then we meet people, and they travel with us for a while. Some step off and disappear from our lives, a few come back, many don't. Sometimes we're the ones who leave earlier than we wanted. For those who get to stay on the ride, we gather moments that can only be lived in motion. We occasionally peek outside to see the places we've just passed, and it is only in memory that we finally understand their meaning. We only see him clearly for a brief stretch of this present. His early years come to us in fragments, and his later ones break apart the same way. He becomes a relic of a time that has already moved beyond him.
What is that fella doing?
He's in outer space.
In the second half of his life, he waits for Gladys and Katie, rebuilding a home so they'll have a place to return to. They never do. Robert doesn't know how to make sense of any of this. Still, he moves forward. That's all any of us can do. Grief hits all of us, but if we let our loss swallow us whole, we lose the chance to make anything new out of what remains. We see our lives through small, personal lenses, and we're often too close to the ground to recognize the wider paths we're shaping. Sometimes all it takes to see things clearly is to reach a little higher.